Good morning and welcome to the Babbles Travelling Yarns podcast. I almost forgot what it was. Yay! Babbles Travelling Yarns podcast. My name's Grace. You can find me as Vanna Willamille on Instagram, on Ravelry, and where else? That's it. You can also find me as Babbles Yarns, which is my small little indie-dyed yarn business on Etsy and on Instagram as well. Now, let me just explain. So I have a window of an hour and 15 minutes to do this podcast, and then I am driving up to Ennis to do a spinning day. And I'm also doing Vlogmas, so I've got a lot of footage to take, but I've got a lot of things going on, so it's really exciting. But I decided to do the the podcast today because it's the only day I have. Tomorrow I'm going up to Dublin for a rigid heddle loom weaving class, and then Monday we're super busy. Tuesday we are off to Paris, so that's all going to be in Vlogmas, but I want to just get a little podcast in here because I've been doing some cool stuff. So let me start off with saying that I have got no knitting FOs. I have got 2 weaving FOs, and I have got 1 spinning hoe. I'm going to call it that. So, should we start with the things that I haven't touched? Okay, let's just admit it. I have not got round to putting heels or toes on this Afterthought Everything sock. With the yarn is by Strand Designs. It's a stunning yarn. I have managed to buy 2 more skeins of Strand Designs yarn, because that makes sense. Don't finish the thing you have and buy 2 more. 2 more self-striping as well. I'm obsessed. So Karina had a sale in her shop on Etsy, and this was down to like €12, and I'd been staring at it for a while, so I was like, just do it, Grace. And this is the St. Patrick's Day colorway. It's actually a sock set, so it's 50 grams and then 20 grams of a mini, and the yarn type is 75-25 superwash merino nylon. So yeah, she's Strand Designs on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm so excited. I don't know when to cast this on, before or after St. Patrick's Day. Also, do you like my nails? I had them done for Christmas because I'm going to be going like away, and I have the opportunity. I've got 2 weeks off. It's so exciting. So I bought this, and she also sent me a really lovely Notions tin. Super lovely Notions tin, and it says, "Dear self, today you will shine." And it's just beautiful. Oh look, it's got little lace edging, and yeah, that's adorbs. So I might pop that into a giveaway, because it's always nice to have like a big box of stuff to put in a giveaway. Thank you. So, and then she also, last night, she put on Instagram that she had dyed up some more of this type of self-striping, except it was in blues and greens, like, and I was like, well, what's a girl supposed to do? I'm powerless. So I went on and I messaged her, and I was like, can I have it? Can I have it? So she might have some more available. So if you want to go over and have a little look, it's only on Instagram, and you just have to PM her and say, I would like to buy this, and then she'll send you a PayPal request. Yay! So I haven't really touched it, so whatever. Awkward. Now, I'm so close to that as well. All I have to do is just snip it, and I have all the sock needles I need. I don't know what's stopping me. Other things. I also have not touched my Vivian cardigan. I just haven't touched it. It's still in the ovary stage. Large ovary. Possibly post-child. So this is the Vivian cardigan by Andy Satterland. It's going to be absolutely beautiful, but at the moment it's just sitting there, not being useful at all. That's my fault, but that's okay. What I have been working on, what have I been working on? Oh yes! It's freezing outside. It is so cold that I have been desperately trying to finish my Soba Mittens by Skein by Ellie from Skein Knits. So I finished one. I haven't blocked it yet, but I've got the thumb on and everything. Because I thought if I don't do the thumb, I'll never do the thumb. And I am... It's in this bag. How could it not be in this bag? No. Yeah, I am up to here on the other mitten. And this is knit with the Roseberry colourway and the Sheep colourway, I believe, from Dolton Border Leicester. From sheep that get to grow old, and it's just perfect. So Roseberry and Sheep, yes, I'm right. So this is these are DK weight yarns, and they are fabulous. Fabulous. So I am this far on my other one. I've got a lovely stitch marker there. This is my progress keeper from like 2 days ago. So I am flying up here. I am absolutely flying. This is a stitch marker from Mrs. U Makes. I don't know if I have her card anywhere. What's this one? No, it's my card. Why do I have my card? Anyway. So this is Mrs. U Makes. It's a beautiful, it's like a really heavy, I love it. It just feels super nice. I think it's agate. And I have my thumb is off on waist yarn, and I'm flying up now. I am just working away super fast on those. That's my little globe stitch marker. I need to get some more of these kind of brass rings just to maybe start popping them in my shop if anyone would like them, because they're so cute. It reminds me that I'm a traveller, even though I am a traveller. I'm going to Paris in 3 days. Yay! So yeah, so that's where I am with those. I'm desperately trying to finish them for when I go to Paris. I've got 3 days. I can do it. I can do it. I've got a big bus ride now tomorrow up to Dublin. Bus ride up and down to the Constant Knitter. They're having a class up there. I'm so excited about it. So yeah, that's exciting. So that's really the one whip I've been working my bum off on. What else did I say? Sock, sweater, hat. Oh yeah, okay, so I have bought, I did buy at the Knitting and Stitching show, I bought some Apple Oak Fibre Works botanically dyed yarn, and I have been contemplating knitting hats as presents, and the closer it gets, the more I realise I might just buy presents. But anyway, I have this hat for myself anyway. So I'm knitting them on a size 6 Knit Prony. I gave up and I just decided I'm going to just knit them on my needles that I have. And the gauges turned out totally fine. So that's perfect. Yes, now what I wanted to speak about was, this colour is called Witchfire. And it is botanically dyed with, I believe, cochineal and indigo over dyed. Now, indigo specifically is a really tricky colour to keep on the yarn. And that's because of the way it is. So indigo was originally what they used to dye jeans. And so, I'm so sorry about the throat. Bleh, whatever. There's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, so indigo is normally used to dye jeans, and it was said that it wasn't a real pair of jeans unless your legs were blue after wearing them, because the indigo, you know, it washes out, and that's just the way, that's just the nature of indigo. So when I was knitting with this for the first time, because I had to rip the hat out because it was too big, my hands were like staining blue, and I was like, I'm just gonna message the dyer. And she was so lovely. She was saying, you know, this happens with indigo. This is very common. I hope it doesn't bother you. It's part of dyeing with indigo. Because it's working through your warm hands, it's going to come off in your hands. It should, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be gifting these. So what's the best idea to avoid having like a blue head when I give them? She was like, just wash it with a little bit of vinegar and in warm water, warm kind of soapy water, and the colour should, the rest of the colour that's sitting on the yarn will wash out, and it should be fine after that. It was really interesting conversation I had with her, because she was like, you know, I have put it in the, you know, in the disclaimer, which is why she's worried that it would put people off buying it, but it's so beautiful. And the thing is that indigo does this. That's just what indigo does. And it's all about kind of educating and teaching people that this is to be expected and how you deal with it. And she had put it on her Facebook, on her website page, on her Etsy, and I hadn't looked at it because I bought it straight from her at the knitting and stitching show, and she was so busy. But she was like really quick to get back to me about what to do with it and how to make it, you know. So she was like, if you don't mind looking like a smurf while you're knitting it. I was like, no, not at all. I just have to be careful not to like do anything funny with my face, but at the same time it would be hilarious. So I'm loving knitting with my new nails. It just makes me happy when I'm knitting and I'm looking at my nails going, they're so shiny. So it's not coming off now too badly. I think it's because I've already knit with this. I've knit about 2 inches already with this yarn, and then I had to rip it back because it was too big. So a lot of the dye actually came off at that stage. So when I get back into the new part of the ball where I haven't knit with it, it will start getting quite blue again. And it was really interesting because you can see where the yarn goes through your fingers. You're like, oh, I didn't know I knitted like that. You know, it was over the top of this one, under this one, over the top of this one, and then down under here. And then there was a huge section of blue here, which was where I was holding it. Oh, it's just really interesting. I think that's really cool. So yeah, it's just something to be aware of, and just know how to deal with it. Just wash it with a bit of vinegar. I've got citric acid actually from my dyeing, so I'm going to just let it kind of soak. I'm going to block it in the vinegar solution and then take it out and then wash it in, or rinse it in a bit of soapy water and then rinse it again. So I'm just going to make sure that I block it properly when I'm done. Excuse my throat. So yeah, that's what I'm playing with. And now I can't stop knitting with it because the yarn is beautiful. This is Stockholm yarn. It's her chunky singles base. Stockholm in the Witchfire colorway. And I also have the Red Riding colorway, which is a bright red, and the something else colorway. It's like it's a cream. It's somewhere. It's a cream. What is it? Ivory. The Ivory colorway. Beautiful. Lovely. Lovely. So yes. So that's what I've been working on a lot. Have I been working on anything else? No. So I have been swatching. So I got a message from my friend Mina from the Knitting Expat podcast, and she asked me, would you like to be a test knitter? And I said, hell's to the yes. Now I know I said I wouldn't do any test knits for a while, but this is for the mix and match sweater that she's just released. This is her first adult garment design that she's releasing, and so she's testing it, and I have to get it done by the 31st of January, so it should be out after that. I am so excited. It's so amazing. So I went through the pattern and it asks for a worsted weight. Is it Aran or worsted weight? The thing with the mix and match sweater is you can mix and match so many things. She's got pictures of little Layla on the front. So this is the first pattern that she did. It was a child's cardigan, a child's pattern, and then she's adjusting it for the adult pattern, but she hasn't taken any finished photographs for the pattern, so this is not going to be the photo on it. But yeah, there are 2 weight options. It's a DK or a worsted. Now, it's going to be a big, cozy, I'm desperate for a big, cozy cardigan. When I saw it, I was like, yes, I want that. I want that right now. So big cozy cardigan. I'm going to do the big shawl collar option. You can not do the shawl collar option as well. I'm going to do the big shawl collar option because I want it lovely and cozy around my neck. I'm going to do the longer section, so you get, there's a long part, so the back is longer at the back. Yeah, so it's longer at the back. And I am going to do so what I've done is I found this yarn that I bought in Edinburgh Yarn Festival. I bought a ton of this stuff. I bought 10 skeins of Aran weight, and I haven't measured the gauge yet. So I'm going to do that right now because I found my little gauge ruler, my Ann Budd gauge ruler. So the gauge is, I've got to get exact gauge. So I knit this thinking that if, you know, I really don't like wasting yarn. However, if I knit it swatch big enough, it can be a little pocket for my handies. And I can put it to the front, you know. Mix and match. So, just move all of my stuff. And I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Hopefully you can see. So, where am I now? So what we want to get is 5 stitches per inch. Oh my goodness, I'm so close there. Do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I've got it, lads. I think my row gauge is a little bit off. If you can see, there's 1 row of stitches there. There's 1 row of stitches there. So I'm actually, I think I'm getting 1. Hang on. So you have to line it up with the V's. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I've got like 4.5 rows in this section. But yes, okay. So I've got, I think I've got, hang on. So I want to measure a couple of different places just to get an even measurement. Where is it? 5. I want the 5. So I'm not stretching the gauge, the swatch at all. I think I've definitely got it. Look at that. Hang on, let's go somewhere else. Look at that. I'm just having a look here. This is the one I want. I want it to settle there. Let's go over here. So it is going to be knit flat because it is a cardigan. So I'm happy with this flat swatch. And you know, it is better to do a big swatch. Look, Grace, you're so good. Okay, yeah, I mean, I've done 5 or 6 measurements here live. So I've got gauge, stitch gauge anyway. Do you know, actually, I might even have row gauge. 1 second, I wasn't checking row gauge. I think I do. What do you think, guys? I think I've got row gauge. So hang on, let's find the thingy-majiggers. If I don't have row gauge, I can just knit it as long as in the body as I want. So, so yeah. I'm delighted. Okay, that was a good question. So I knit this on a, I can't see it. There it is, a 4.5 millimeter. You probably can't see that at all, but this is a 4.5 millimeter needle, and actually that's exactly the needle size that she recommended for the larger needle size. So fantastic. So that's awesome. I don't have to do another gauge swatch. Pure luck. I got gauge. I got that gauge, got that gauge, got that. I think this is the first time I've ever got gauge. So yeah, so this is the yarn that I tested. However, I was like, I'd love to make this as a sweater for work because I'm going to be doing a lot more nights, a lot more, you know, on call work, and it's cold inside in hospitals. So I decided to dye the yarn. And I've also been desperate to do an ombre sweater for a long time. So not so much a speckledy fade sweater, but like an ombre. I'm like I was obsessed with ombre fades for a long time, especially when I was traveling. I bought them a lot. And oh, I just realized I have other stuff that I could have used as well, which I completely forgot about. But that's fine because I've just dyed some new yarn, so I'll show you that. It's gonna be so pretty. So So my uniform is this colour inside and work. So I thought I could start with this really nice kind of, it is quite grey, but it's got like tinges of mauve, and then it kind of moves down into like sort of like a pinky, like a dusty pink, and then it goes darker and darker and darker and darker into this deep, deep burgundy maroon type of colour. Oh, I love it. I did have to re-dye the 3 skeins because I popped everything into one pot, and the last couple of skeins that went in didn't dye evenly, so I re-dyed them, and I'm really happy with the way they are now. And before I dyed anything, I panicked and I ordered more of this yarn because I was like, just in case I ruin it, I want some more just in case. So I have a ton of this yarn coming to me, and I'm thinking of dyeing up some kits. So that might be an option. But yeah, it's going to be January before those come out. But it was a really good test for that, just to see if it's possible. And I think it is. So cozy. Oh, I cannot wait for this sweater. It's going to be the warmest, coziest, cuddliest thing ever. Oh, it still smells super sheepy. Smell it. Smell it. So the mix and match sweater also has an option for the one that Mina has done has a pattern all over it to help out with like variegated yarns. But I think there's also a pattern just to do it in stockinette. I think I'm going to do it just in stockinette. I love that there's so many options with this sweater. It's fabulous because you can make it however you want it. I love that. I love that so much. So I cannot wait for these. There's one of these that's just a little bit wet, so I need to keep drying it, and then I'm going to cast it on. I'm probably going to bring it with me on holidays and start it on holidays. So I'm just waiting for the yarn to dry. Dry! I'm desperate to cast it on. Oh look, it's so cute! I found my screenshot. Yay! Wait, I gotta do a stiller one because it's a real pain in the arse if you don't stay still for long enough. You're like, no, that was creepy, but effective. Now, I'm gonna pop this here. My arm is so warm. Now you can still see it. It's a big bunch of loveliness. Thank you so much, Mina, for allowing me this opportunity. There's a bunch of other cool people who are going to be test knitting it, so I'm just so happy. So I'm going to be knitting the 40 inch, which is actually 42 inch bust because there's a bit of positive ease on it. So it's going to be a super cozy, comfy, warm cardigan, which I'm desperate to. That's a total gap in my, I mean, I do have another one which was in that colour actually, a kind of a red colour. It was the year-round cardigan. It was the second cardigan I ever knit, and it was just too open. I want buttons. I realised I need buttons. I need a shawl collar, really cozy, comfy collar, and buttons, so I can just button it shut and cozy cuddle down in it when there's nothing going on at nights, which can be rare, but it also is super cold and not nice if you don't have something nice to wear. So it's like the first time that I realised I can dye my own yarn. I can dye the exact yarn that I want. I was like, oh my gosh. I think I kind of want to do like a teal one, like from navy all the way up to like light blue. Wouldn't that be nice too? Anyway, I have a couple of ideas in my head. I've got loads of the yarn coming. So that's what I've been up to there. Now, I also have been starting to weave. So I got this little kit from France, from a shop called Fildar in France. It's like a commercial yarn shop. So I got this set and I was like, oh, interesting. And so I sat down one day when I decided last weekend I was like, I need to just calm down and not take on so much, you know? So I sat down and I started weaving, and it's on my Instagram, the progress, And this was the first thing I wove. Now this is some nettle fibre and cotton that I got sent to me as a sample for, hi James! James is going to get some breakfast. So it was sent to me as a sample from a lady in India. And what she does is she coordinates rural women in India to collect the Himalayan nettle fibre, and then they ret it and then they hand spin it. So this is all hand spun. So I'm going to place an order in springtime for more of this hand spun, and it's going to be just going to be the raw colour, so I'm going to be able to dye it, and it's going to be in the shop. Now it is hand spun, therefore it sometimes breaks off, so I don't know how it's going to be to knit with. I looked at it first and I was like, oh, I don't think that's going to be a pleasant experience to knit with, but weaving, it's amazing. I just love how it's like little changes here. So basically I knit two placemats, and I'm in the process of knitting another, and then I basically ran out of the red. I was like, oh no, I need more. Thank God more is coming. And so I haven't washed these yet. I know you need to set them by washing them, and I know that like nettle and linen fabrics will actually what's the word, it'll soften up over time. You know, the plant-based fabrics do, they soften up over time, but yeah, so I'm gonna make some coasters, I'm gonna make some stuff, and I'm having a rigid headloom class tomorrow, so this is like a little tester. This whole kit was like 24 euros or something crazy like that. So I think this is my favorite one. I love it. I love it so much. I really like it. The cotton in between is so nice as well. The cotton she gets from the open market in India. There's a fascinating history of cotton in India, which I only know a very small amount of. But if you look at the Indian flag, in the center of the Indian flag, it actually looks like the Irish flag. It's a green, yellow and gold, or green, white and gold. And in the middle, or is it gold? Is it gold? Yeah. Is it the other way around? I don't know. Anyway, there's those three colors in there. And then in the center of the white, there is a circle. And the circle is actually the wheel of a spinning wheel. And it's actually specifically a cotton spinning wheel. It's a chakra. I can't remember how to say it. I know how to spell it, but anyway. And the chakra was a symbol of refusing to buy English imported cotton. And it was kind of the same sort of idea of the Boston Tea Party, that they were, you know, the English were forcing the colonies to buy English products, and they would have a massive tax on them, whereas these countries could produce their own, but they were being forced to buy the English products so the English could make money off it, which doesn't make much sense. But anyway, makes total sense to them. So yeah, so the homegrown cotton industry, which Gandhi was a massive figurehead for, but they would have these little book chakra kits, so it would be a little suitcase, and so they could take it anywhere with them. It was super portable, and they would just sit down on the floor and like hold one section with their foot, I think, and then they would spin it with their hand, and then they would do a long draw cotton. Oh, it's just fascinating stuff. But it was all about making your own clothes, being self-sufficient, not needing to depend on a capitalist kind of, you know, foreign body, you know, colonized ideals, you know, becoming an independent country, making your own products, not needing to import everything. It's just really interesting. So, and I just felt really connected to that. Like, not really connected because I'm totally not, well, actually, the famine comes to mind. where, you know, there was plenty of food in Ireland at the time, but it was all being shipped out and all we had to eat was potatoes. And if there wasn't any potatoes, there wasn't anything for us to eat. Even though there was, like, Ireland's one of the most fertile countries in the world, but our food was being shipped out to be sold abroad. So maybe I do identify a little bit with India and their struggle for freedom. Maybe I do. Oh, I've just realised that. It's really fascinating how fibre and especially weaving. I've been reading this book called Women's Work, and I recently finished it, and it's just a fascinating book. Kind of, it links, you know, the skills of women and why women were the ones to weave in the first place, and why weaving was actually a form of monetary gain. So when, like, having a skilled weaver in the house was a massive form of income, because you could sell your products. But of course that meant a lot of pillaging and robbing of skilled textile workers to work as slaves in the country houses to produce these fabulous linens, which would then make you a lot of money if you were a textile slave owner. Which, you know, it's just, I've forgotten all about this stuff since machines take over. Machines have taken over, you know, and then you just go into H&M and just buy 10 cotton placemats, you know, pretty ones that you put on your, and it's lovely and it makes, you know, makes your dinner nice. But when you make it yourself, you connect yourself so closely to this massive history that we really have almost forgotten. So when you do something slowly by hand and you get interested, you're like, how did they do that? And then you get into researching, and there's so much beautiful research out there. It's really interesting, really interesting. Whenever I find interesting videos and topics, I actually put them on my Facebook feed. It's handy when you want to have like articles or other videos and you want to just keep them all in one place. And my Facebook page is Babbles Yarns on Facebook. And it is linked in my Instagram account if you want to have a little look see. And I think there is stuff in the down bar. But I'm sure there was one on weaving and the history of weaving in India, or the history of spinning cotton in India as well, if you want to have a look. And I will be stocking this amazing nettle yarn, hand retted by women in the foothills, in the Himalayan foothills, and then hand spun. I think it's sent away to a government mill to be prepped, and then it's hand spun back in the villages. I am so fascinated by this whole process. I am like obsessed. Someone, when I put this up on Instagram, someone commented, she's like, don't bother with a rigid headed loom, just get a floor loom, get an 8-headed 10 floor loom. And I was like, ooh, like, she was like, get a baby wolf or a wolf shacked or something, this and blah blah blah. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, £2,500. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. But if anyone has one spare lying around that they want to ship to me, I'll pay shipping. That happened once before, Jocelyn, with the spinning wheel. I was like, well, I would love to be able to drop €3,000 on a floor loom. I literally would love nothing more. But the lotto needs to fall into my lap, I think, before I dream about that. She was saying, like, that I could, you know, sell the products and get my money back. And I'm like, I also have a full-time job though. So I'm like, Anyway, so the next thing I wanted to do was I have a ton of this old acrylic in my stash. And I was like, I just need to just kind of start using it up. But it was variegated. This is Pattons Acrylic. I don't know what it is. But it's very good. And I was like, I'm really interested to see how this weaves up. So I was warping the loom and I spent about a whole night trying to warp it. So, so this loom has two kind of rollable sections. I was like, I can make a long warp, you know, like a scarf, or make a couple of these placemats in one go. No, you can't, Grace. Well, we found that out. Anyway, I've got a few extra inches. I've wound it around a couple of times. I got a few extra inches just to make it a bit easier, because I can only comfortably weave in between these two sections. These are here just to have it on your lap, so they kind of sit down on your lap. But getting this over it, just to weave up a little higher or down a little lower, just to fill the loom a little bit and get like a whole A4 page size as opposed to just a square in the middle, was tricky. So I have just got an extra few inches so that I can extend the weaving area. Does that make sense? So when I get too close to up here, I loosen everything and I turn this, so I pull this down, giving myself extra space in between these two bars, these two little mint bars. Mint, isn't this the cutest thing you've ever seen, by the way? So I believe that this weaving loom is kind of more for kind of funky wall hangings and Pinterest ideas, you know, not really useful things, and I'm not really into that sort of aesthetic, so that's just not my thing. So I wanted to make useful things. So I wanted to make placemats, I wanted to make coasters, and actually what I really want to do is make proper fabric so I can make clothes. There's this amazing Instagram account called Lil Weavy, and oh my gosh, I love her stuff. So what she does is she makes these massive sheets of fabric, and then she cuts tops out of them, super simple minimalist tops, because like I imagine like cutting into what you've woven is like terrifying. Right? So she makes these kind of top squares, she cuts them into squares, and then she sews the top and she sews the sides. So they're very simple tops, but they're just beautiful. And what I think I'd like to do is to weave fabric in big long rectangles and sew the top so you get sleeves, and sew the sides, and then tie it with a belt, you know, kind of like a really simple shift rectangular dress, no shaping apart from the belt, so your body would actually shape it. And I think that's kind of what they used to do in medieval times. That was the shape of the dress, you know. Yeah, so I am so excited about this journey of weaving. I am so excited. But I think I'm gonna have to save up. I don't know if I'm gonna buy a rigid head loom. I might borrow one from the guild tomorrow. I'm going to bring up my hand spun. I'm going to try and weave in some of my hand spun. I'm so excited because I feel like we're going to make a cowl, and yeah, it's a whole day. It's from like 10 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock, and we're just going to be sitting and weaving all day. 25 euros. That's the cost of the class if you're a member of the guild. If you're not a member of the guild and you're interested in this, get on it! Anyway. So, I'm loving... Oh yes, so I was talking about how this is coming up with a variegated. And I really like it. I really like it. So it's rolled over just once. That's the start of it, just in there. Rolled over just once. So I'm just about to finish off. I think I need to do... so I've got 10 there, and then this. I think I'm about to, oh, am I about to stop? One second, let me just wind this back and see where I am. That's the thing as well, if you're rolling it round, you don't really know. I have so much to learn. I'm so excited about learning all of this stuff. Yeah, poor James was like holding I was like, put some more tension on that warp. He was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I was like, just pull harder and stop holding your phone in one hand. What is this? Do you think this is amateur hour? He was like, absolutely amateur. Yes, actually, come to think of it. I was like, shut up. You don't understand. And then I was like, you know, if I had a floor loom, this wouldn't be a problem. You know, if I had a floor loom, this wouldn't be an issue. You know, if I had a floor loom, you wouldn't have to stand there like an idiot. He was like, not that it's up to him at all. Oh yeah, I've got one more thing to do. Oh gosh, and I think one of these wing nuts is loose. I think I need to change it. It's a very simple procedure though. It's like really simple design, this. I mean, that's why it's so cheap and cheerful. But it's a really good tester to see if you really would like to do it, you know? Yay! So my idea is to make 4 to 6 placemats. Not of the pink. I'm not going to do more of that pink, but yay! I love it. I am just in love with weaving. Now I'm going to show you my hoe of my spinning. So this is my hoe. It's my half finished braid. So I've spun up half of the braid that I was working on last week. This is a braid from Esty Shop. Hi James! He's back. Oh great. Maybe he can make me another cup of tea. Yeah, so it's got these beautiful kind of purples, mauves and oranges, and there's some greens in there as well. If you can see where the blues and yellows mixed, I'd say that's where that is. It's absolutely lovely. So that was the half braid just spun from the top. I split it down the middle and I spun it from the top of that. Now the rest of the braid, which I'm going to be spinning today at the spin in Glore, is all split up into these little nests. So I'm excited about that, and I'm going to spin them end to end. So it's going to kind of stripe, I believe. This is a form of fractal spinning, and I broke the braid down in the on a podcast 2 podcasts ago, I believe. So this is my hoe. So yeah, I'm just I don't really know how I'm spinning it. I'm spinning it all over the place, which is why it's slightly uneven, but that's okay. I don't really mind. And yeah, what else have I got to tell you today? I probably have loads to tell you, and I've forgotten everything because this is a really super fast. I've also got another giveaway. What? So this is going to be on my Instagram, I think. Oops. Instagram giveaway. So, Bear in Sheep's Clothing, my friend Bernie, has sent me this massive, beautiful skein and 2 little treats. So these gorgeous, gorgeous stitch markers, which match the yarn so beautifully. So this is Killadoon. It's an amazing colorway inspired by the Atlantic Knitscape retreat. They match my earrings. Oh my gosh, can I keep it instead? No, Grace, give it away. You said you're gonna give it away. Give it away. So this is gonna be over on my Instagram account. So head over there and let me know. I'll tell you what to do over there. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. Look, it matches her though. It's got the yellow in there. Oh my god, it's all so cute. Oh my god, Bernie. So this is 75% BFL nylon. Or sorry, 75%, 25% BFL and nylon. British wool spun in Britain. Oh nice. BFL. BFL high twist as well. It's so beautiful. Oh Bernie. You're so bloody talented. It's ridiculous. Anyway, this is the Killadoon colorway. Isn't it beautiful? With the little notions tin with her little bear on it. I love this bear so much. Okay. Thank you so much, Bernie, for sending me that prize for the podcast. I love it. Love it so much. I've got so much yarn of Bernie's now. Oh, I want to knit that ombre hat. I don't know, have you seen this? I'm sure you have, but it's been a while. And I keep forgetting I have it, which is terrible. Because it's up on my wall and it just looks beautiful. But it actually fades in the skein, which is like really hard to do, by the way. And there's some beautiful stitch markers with it too. King Titan's Fury Speckle Gradient. It's so beautiful. How do you do it, Bernie? I have so much beautiful yarn. I really don't need any more. She says, just after buying some more yarn. It's still striping. It's different. Now, so I will be doing Vlogmas. There's one Vlogmas already up, and I have some more for today. But I'm going to be popping up this podcast as well, just because I was speaking about the weaving. I found that really fascinating, showing the progress of my mittens and the giveaways that I was doing. So that's lovely and exciting and wonderful. And I feel like I'm forgetting something. I always feel like I'm forgetting something. Constantly. I really hope I'm not, because that means that I haven't bought anything extra. I really do not need to be buying things, because I'm going to Paris and I'm going to Le Bien-Aimé and Loisifé, and I'm hoping to go to the knit night on Wednesdays, but it's like super busy. I think you have to go on Ravelry and book ahead of time, because they only have space for like 22 people in Loisifé. So I've got to get my French accent on as well. Bonsoir, madame. Voulez... Oh wait, that's a question. Je voudrais faire un tricot? Oui? They all speak English anyway. We'll be fine. Amy speaks English anyway. Hero does as well. So we'll be fine. Yay! I'm so excited! So next time I podcast, I'm going to be in Inkyland, which is O'Neill terminology for England, by the way. I am probably, oh actually, okay, there's going to be a ton of content out this month because I'm going so many places and it's Vlogmas. But I do want to put together like a specific podcast too. And I believe there's going to be a tour of John Arbon, but that's more of a vloggy situation. I may get some time to myself when I come back, which will be probably in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, so there'll be a little gap of specific podcast, but there will be so much content coming up. I hope I don't overload you. Oh, well, you can go back and look at it. It's there on YouTube, so you can look at it anytime you want. There's no pressure to look at it all in one go, like right the second it comes out. That's not necessary at all. So, I think I might just get on some weaving now. No, I can't. I've got to go and pack the car for spinning. So I hope you're having a wonderful, beautiful December. I'm really getting into the spirit this year, mainly because James is a massive Christmas fanatic. It's embarrassing. And yeah, I think this is the first kind of cold Christmas I've had in a long time. So have a beautiful week, 2 weeks, and I'll see you in Paris. I'll see you in the Vlogmas as well. Bye.